Okay, it says we live right now, so let's go ahead and start the show off. Again, y'all tuned into the Power of Ownership podcast. This is your host, Brandon B. Dixon. I got my guest host, Stephen Contreras.
How are you guys doing tonight? Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Yes, and if this is your first time tuning in to the Power of Ownership podcast, my name is Brandon B. Dixon. I'm a published author, serial entrepreneur, mortgage broker, community activist, and a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Mason. The Power of Ownership podcast, we usually talk about power of owning not only properties, rental properties, passive income, but businesses, intellectual property, so on and so forth. And we did expand it to the ownership of the mind, body, and soul. So we kind of bridging the gap between the physical and the spiritual realm, and how to bring success by being grounded. You know, so I'll let Stephen go ahead and finish introducing himself.
Yeah, my name is Stephen Contreras. I'm a geologist here in Houston, Texas. I'm a big philosopher, study of all the sciences and arts. I'm a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Mason, New York Rite Mason, and yeah, it's a little bit about me. So,
right, we're gonna do this series. We got a couple things brewing. We're gonna do this series about the 48 laws of power, and I wanted to kind of make it like short videos, maybe like do 2 laws at a time. Do you want to like break it up, like the first 5 or 6 the first time, and then come back later on in the week? And then do the shorter videos, or how did you want to do it?
Yeah, that's fine with me. We can do the first 6 and then do 2 from then on out.
Gotcha. So let's start the introductory, since this is the normal show. Well, like the first 6, and the reason why I chose the 48 laws of power, is because this is one of the books I read. One of the first books I read right before I made that switch to giving up the W-2 lifestyle and becoming an entrepreneur. And I got it from hip hop, listening to Kanye West, listening to Rick Ross and all them. And they kept talking about this book, The 48 Laws of Power. And I read it, and it kind of blew my mind. It kind of, made me change and remanufacture myself to kind of, meet this particular, entity that you got to be in order to be successful in business. You got to kind of be a dog, and I needed all the working tools that I could get. Me coming from, the kind of community I came from, where there's not really that much mentorship or advice and or information out there where you could on entrepreneurship, just on winning at life in general. We're always taught as kids to be, good students, then in turn get you a good job, and then in turn get you a wife, and then die.
Yeah,
that's what we're taught. We weren't taught how to.
It's the Disney dream, right? Go to school, right, get married, have kids, and have a good career, and then just you whittle away, right?
Right, and then 15 minutes later, nobody knew you ever existed on this planet. So I chose a long time ago to I'm gonna go for it. That's not the type of life for me. The average Joe life is not the type of life for me. Unfortunately, this is to get to that top 1%, to get to that top 5%. It's not an easy climb. Yeah. You gotta be a dog. You gotta be a Hall of Famer.
It's the 1% for a reason, right? That's why I'm the 1%.
Right, and a lot of people, this scares a lot of people. A lot of people give up before they even start. Like, nah, I just want to be comfortable. I'm not worried about, having it all. I just want to, have a little bit of income where I could go on a couple of vacations, go to a couple of Essence concerts, and then I'm done. And that's the majority of people.
I think in one of our earlier videos, you were talking about how we have to sacrifice, like don't go to that barbecue or don't go on that, celebrate that holiday, like you got to buckle down and do the grind and put the work in, right?
Right. I mean, it's about self-improvement. It's a challenge, and it's about outdoing yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like to do that. A lot of people, even at jobs, they want to do the bare minimum at jobs.
Yeah, there's no shortcuts, right?
All right, so that's the thing about entrepreneurship. There's nobody watching, nobody's gonna hold you accountable. You gotta outdo yourself.
Am
And you
I
gotta
am I operating at the best version of myself that I can? Right.
right, right. And you're constantly upgrading.
Hmm.
But 48 laws of power for those who hadn't got it. Um, if just Google the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, probably one of the best selling books of all time, one of the best power videos. If you hadn't, just tune into our breakdown. We're gonna break it down to you. Bird feed you real quick. Uh,
The cool thing
and
about this book too is no matter where you are on your journey, right? Like the book is always changing. It's like one day it can mean something to you, and then another day it can mean something else. The further you keep on going on this climb.
right, right. And again, y'all pick it up. There's PDFs available as well. If you can't afford the book, there's PDFs with the abridged version. Just get those. That's how I did when I was broke and didn't have nothing. I uh, I started with the abridged version. I googled it and downloaded that. And my cousin and I used to study it every day. We used to go over it together and just study it every day. Hey, this is what we need to get better on. This is what we need to. This is what we need to do. This we need to do that. And and that was the only working tools we had at the time. So as far as business, and we utilized that. We took that little one book, and then we made $1 million out of it. So and then there's so much other stuff we missed out on by not having mentorship that we could have probably made $10 million if we had a little bit more working to. But this one book changed the trajectory of my life. That's why I gotta do a breakdown. Maybe I'll inspire some future entrepreneur out there or future business owner,
Mhm.
and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and it's a powerful book, like you said. It changes people's lives. It teaches you how to work in the system and not be in the system at the same time as well.
Gotcha. Let's start off with the first one. And law number one is never outshine the master.
So what
You
does
know,
that mean to you?
well, it meant something back then, and now it means something different to me now. But the meat, the core of it's kind of the same. When I initially read this, when I started my business back in like 2003, um, it meant like the masters of this particular realm. It meant like the Caucasian. It meant like the ones that's in power.
Mhm.
So and what I took that is, and what I alchemized that to mean is that I never used to let them know how smart I was. In fact, I used to play dumb, and that's one of the laws coming up. I used to play dumb in order to gain. So what happens is I used to notice on jobs, I used to always be the smartest one in the room. And I thought by, showcasing my smarts, that will make people like me. And that will make me a more valuable employee. Actually, it's the opposite, especially when you working in corporate. It actually puts a target on your back.
Mhm.
It
Yeah,
actually breeds envy.
yeah. No one likes people climbing the ladder, right?
Right. Well, nobody likes you got to realize everybody is in their ego. Most people aren't enlightened. So when you think about things and when you come up with ideas that they never thought about, they feel some type of way about that.
Yeah.
So back then I thought it was supervisors or even like when I started my business, being the actual permit people or people that I thought was in a higher position than me, uh, I would try to seem dumber than my mark.
Yeah, it's when it talks about not outshining the master, it's like you said, it's acting almost like you want
Mhm.
to come out like you don't know exactly what you're talking about, or just you know what you're talking about, but you just kind of have to hide it. So never outshine, just wait the time, right?
Right. Well, that's the thing is like it meant that, and it meant one other thing, like never, especially where I come from. I come from New Orleans, and the people that's on top, like especially in the streets, you never want to show them that you have more money than them. That's another way I took it.
Okay.
Because at the same time, you put that target on your back. So I always dress. This is how I used to dress all the time. Coming up, black tee every day, plain shoes, plain, and I dressed real meager and humble. So I
Yeah.
never would flash until I got out of the city. So that's another way I took never outshine the master. Now, 15 years later, 15 years plus later, now it means something else to me. It then alchemized because I've become more enlightened at this point. It means to me, not just people you know, that I've used to perceive in a higher position than me. Now that I realize the oneness, that we are one, this is just me. And I'm most likely the smartest in the room. Most likely most people aren't enlightened. But the ego is still there.
Yeah, it's always there too. You can't ever get rid of it, but you have
Right.
to
Well,
learn how to manage it. Right?
but the ego in other people.
It's always
So
there.
right, it's always there. So even people that I perceive are not as enlightened with me, I still have to meet them on the level.
Yep.
So if I shit on them, I usually don't curse them, but if I show how superior in my mind as far as intellectually, that could turn them off as well. Especially with customers, you always have to kind of break it down to where they can understand it, and always kind of meet them at the level.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to make them feel inferior, because once they feel inferior, now they don't want to spend money with you.
Yeah, true that. And another good point that I take from this first law is never take your position for granted, right?
Right.
Like, never think you're above anyone else. Like I said, you want to be on that level because anything can change at any given moment, right? So you want to always never take your position for granted because it might not be there tomorrow.
Right. Well, the whole thing is, like I said, how it is now is never outshining the master. I understand is more of it developed more people skills wise, and I understand that people are in their ego and their particulars. They're not as enlightened as me, and in their particular world, the universe revolves around them. So you have to cater to that fantasy, especially if you want to make some money. Not saying that it's true. We know the truth, but in their mind, in their realm, they're the top of the totem pole.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to get money out of them, you have to cater to that fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah, because that you're right. They are all about themselves, and what we do is like we bridge the gap, right? We're trying to work with the system, play by its rules.
Right, and that's why that's rule number one. Like, if you really want to make some money, you can't make your customer feel inadequate or talk down to. I think we talked about this earlier. You can't talk down to the audience. You talk down to the audience, they feel some type of way. It's just what it is. A lot of people, even though they're delusional, a lot of people are delusional, but that's their world. In their world, they're the smartest, they're the finest, they're the fastest, they're
working the hardest, right?
Yeah, so you can't just go ahead and kind of piss on their dreams, because then how do you expect them to get spend money with you?
Mm-hmm. And like this first law here, it like bridges also like to different laws throughout the book. It always kind of comes back to that rule number one.
Right, and that rule number one is so important, man. Kind of seem dumber than your mark, but at the same time, you want to cater to people's egos. Don't outshine them. Don't, hey, your fish that you caught ain't shit. I caught a bigger bass, so that ain't nothing. So let me go ahead. So at that point, the resentment is there, and the resentment they might not visualize it to it or vocalize it to you, but they're gonna show in their actions by not spending money with you.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we're trying to do, is to try to teach people how to be successful, right?
Right. So, and even in friendship, a lot of people, you got to kind of talk with people and not talk above them.
Yeah, because everyone's on different levels. And it's a good segue to rule number two: never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use your enemies.
Well, like I told you before, when we kind of went over this over the phone, law number two, never put too much trust in friends, learn how to use enemies. I still struggle with that um, particular law. And I tell you what it mean back then. I took it kind of literal. I took it back then and like, don't trust anybody.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's how I kind of took it back then. Don't even trust anybody. You can't even trust friends. So, and learn how to use your enemies. I developed that skill later on, and I give you a quick story, and I'll let you go ahead and chime in.
Okay.
When I was at Gallery Furniture, and I was the training and development manager at Gallery Furniture, they had a guy by the name of Ted Goldman that was like one of the senior sales manager there, and he was always jealous of me because I came in and became a sales manager. I mean, sales trainer. This guy given that position, and so he's been there 30 years. He was grouchy and stuff like that. So I know that Mac believed anything he said. So I know that I didn't stand a chance if he tried to throw me under the bus or try to throw me in the grease. So I knew he loved Monster Energy drinks. So I used to buy Monster Energy drinks like every other day, just so he leave me alone. So almost kind of bribing him, like, hey, listen, I'm getting you these drinks, so just leave me alone. Let me do my thing. So that's how I kind of use my enemies to kind of buy some time at that particular that particular environment's day to day. You could get fired at any given time. Mac is so up and down, you never know. So I already knew he was going to be a detriment to me. So I used that kindness to kind of defuse him.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. This one was always kind of hard too because I love my friends. I have a lot of friends, and like early on, like I never really had too many enemies. Really, like I've always got along really well with people. So like coming into the corporate world, you run into like people like your coworker, for example, and it was a real struggle for me to figure out how to use this law to my advantage. Like, because I'm usually not that type of person to do those kinds of things, and like just so you can always be ahead of the game, you have to put this law into fruition sometimes, even though it's not the best law like on a human scale, right? So, and like with your friends, like your friends are your friends because we get along and we talk about the same stuff and everything like that. But you always will give your friends the benefit of the doubt. And with an enemy, you know that they're trying to do something against you, so you already know it's coming. So you want to make sure to keep them close, pretty much, right? Keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer is usually the same, right?
Yeah, the thing about that is a discussion for another day. I don't know if I subscribe to that. I want to keep them where I can see them. Like I want to be kind of neutral. I think neutrality is one of the key things. Just kind of be neutral and observe them. I don't know if I want to keep them close because misery loves company, and I believe in aura in the Taurus field. So if you're in my Taurus field with that negative energy, it's gonna eventually weigh down on me. So I kind of keep negative people at a distance. I keep arrogant people at a distance. I keep people that's not on the same page as me as a distance. So I'm kind of distant to certain people. I kind of like I gravitate towards certain people. Like you and I, this coming from the Scottish Rite, we kind of click. We were on the same page, so I click with people like that. People that's kind of still immature and still like still playing high school games and trying to trip you up on your way to climbing a ladder. Those people I kind of keep away from me.
Yeah, it's true. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a good practice, that's for sure.
Right. So
Yeah.
I don't know about keeping my enemies closer. I keep them where I can see them, but I'm not getting you close to me because close to me, you never tell what those people could do. They're a bit more destructive than anything.
Yeah, and that's what it is. I think that's what the whole point of that law is saying is like on the enemy side, because sometimes the enemies will. It's like the wolf in sheep's clothing, right? Like you think they're the enemy, but they're pretending not to be your enemy, and then that makes it an enemy, and
Right.
that's where the
The,
destruction part.
the frenemies.
Yeah, the
The
frenemy.
frenemies.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, with the frenemies, I've been kind of calling. I'm at that age now where I just kind of call them out. Like, man, listen. Hey, listen. I got time, man. I got too much stuff to do. We got a big mission So I got time to, back in my early days, high school days, college days, and early work professional days, I had time to pretend with you. And, nowadays I just call you out like, hey man, listen, I ain't got time for your arrogance. I ain't got time for your, immaturity. Just like the episode we went through when we was eating dinner that time with the, with the brother, I ain't got time for it, man. If you're gonna, if you can't take a joke, we don't need to be around each other, man. Look, you go to one side of the table, I go to the other side, So if we bump heads, it's there's no need for us to be in close proximity.
Yeah, it's just that the energies are off, right?
The energy's off. It's too light. I don't want to say it's too short because we have infinite life, but my mission requires a lot more of my energy.
Yeah.
And I don't have time for the teach people to become better human beings. Either you are or you aren't.
Yeah, and then another quality it has here in the book that it says like with your friends you already know their emotional understanding too, right?
Right.
So sometimes that can get in the way of you trying to be successful in business.
Right.
Yeah.
And I want to touch on one other point before we go to the next point. Yeah. It's funny, like you said, you never had really many enemies. I, on the contrary, always had, and I think because you look a little bit like non-threatening than me, people always was scared of me, either scared of me or intimidated by me. I don't know if it's my girt. I don't know if it's the intelligence, the way I speak. I don't know if it take people by surprise that because like in football they think I had to be dumb or something like that. So just a lot of people get scared around me. They're nervous. So I always had people that try to trip up my progress. And I always did shine. Like I can make moves and boom, boom, boom like that. How do you do that? So I give you an example. I give you a perfect example. This is funny. So we went through the episode, right, at dinner. So I go Thursday for our elections. The conference doors are locked. They've never been locked. I've been there 3 years.
Wow.
So
yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. So, these are 60, 70-year-old dudes, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you're trying to impede my progress. See, like me, I never had that type of energy. If we don't see eye to eye, I'll let you be. I don't have the energy to try to, all right, how can I impede this person's progress? I don't have that type of energy.
Yeah, that's just lower level self, right?
Right. And I mean, even when I was in my lower self, it wasn't in me to do that type of stuff.
Yeah,
that's why I don't like low vibrations around me.
Yeah, it hurts almost for those low vibrations to be around us. I try to block them out too. Just it's like, sorry, I'm kind of busy. Like it's just like, and I don't want to try to be rude or like a dick or anything like that. It's just like sometimes like we just gotta move on. And
well, again, that's why, like I said, that rule I still struggle with because I don't like to keep enemies close. I like to get away from them.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I see you, but I'm not gonna pretend anymore. I just call you out, because I thought that was crazy. I've never seen that room locked for 3 years. We shoot our podcast up, and then next week is locked.
Yeah,
come on, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so come on, man. You can't make it more obvious than this. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But
would you ever hire a friend?
I have, and it hadn't worked out yet.
Yeah, 99% of the time it doesn't work out, right?
Right, it doesn't work out because either they take the job for granted, or they don't take it seriously, or they use the friend thing as an excuse. They don't, is the respect thing. Yeah. When I had my video store, people I have my cousins and a couple of friends up in there, and a couple of guys I was mentoring. They would show up 3-4 hours late, like just ridiculously late. Not 20-15 minutes. I'm talking about 3-4 hours. You're supposed to be there for 10. You show up at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like, and then the thing is, they get mad when you fire them. You know, like, man, you know, you're abusing the job. You're not really putting out, you know, why am I paying you? Why should I continue paying you? So, yeah, every time I hire friends and family, it was a disaster.
Yeah. I actually, the job I have now, I got hired by a friend, and I told him before he hired me, I'm like, I promise I'll do this job to the best of my ability, and I've gotten promoted twice, and I keep on moving forward, you know, because I don't. What motivates me is because I don't want to let my friend down, because I don't want that on my conscience, because he gave me the opportunity, and I'm going to do my damn best that I can.
Right. I mean, well, most people don't have a moral compass. A lot of people take the path of less resistance, which is going to be the lazy way out. And, you know, that's just what it is. You know, so yeah, I would rather hire a stranger, and you know, that way I could hold them accountable. For friends and family, I would rather just invest in your business. Hey, listen, this is your own business. You do what you want to do, and leave me out of it. Don't ask me for any more money. This I invest in your business, and it's up to you to maintain this business.
True.
I would rather do that than hire them because they're not going to work for me.
Yeah.
Let them do your, hey, what do you want to invest in? I will invest in your whatever, and that way you could do you.
Yeah.
You know, so let's go to rule number 3 real quick, which is conceal your intentions. I'll tell you what like I said, conceal your intentions. I'm good at, because this is the thing, you know, and not all ego aside. I think if I told somebody my intentions, it still would go over their head. You know what I'm saying?
I don't mean to laugh, but it is kind of funny.
Right. So even if I told you my intentions, I'll spell it out to you. Most of the average Joe will be over their heads. So because they can't fathom nothing but, you know, what's told to them. They think life is get you a job, an old lady, go to a couple of Essence concerts, watch TV, go to a couple of vacations and die.
Yeah.
They don't. Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah. When I told my father the other day, I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to do something bigger than just myself. You know, I'm trying to build something for everyone. You know, like for my family, so they don't have to work hard anymore for 2 generations. You know, it's not about me. I don't do anything for me. I do it for everyone else. You know?
Right. Right.
And just some people don't get that.
Right. Well, they you know, so if you're in your lower chakras, if you're still in your root chakra, it's you know, it's unconceivable. You can't conceive anything like that. You know, so it just is what it is. You know, we're taught that we are the body, and you know, you're going to do anything to preserve this body. You know, so you know, and you don't know that you're one consciousness. You know, all you know, playing. You know, living in the play, living in the in your own world that you created. So they don't look at it like that. They look at it like, you know, this is it. YOLO, you only live once. You know, so I mean, on a micro level, conceal your intentions. Yeah, I mean, somewhat. Yeah, somewhat. I do it, and somewhat I give it is ambiguous. And I think this leads to one of the laws that's further along is that I'll tell you my intentions as long as it has something to do with you putting a favor for you. That way you can feel it. Other than that, people won't feel it. That's just how selfish the society has become.
Yeah.
So I'll try to spin it to something that makes, you know, is in it for you. That way you can feel what I'm saying.
Yeah, if I'm around friends if I'm around like my true friends who I give my life for, or my brothers who I know won't do me harm, you know, like I'm always open and honest and everything like that. But it's a dog eat dog world in society, and sometimes you can't say everything. You know, you gotta keep some of that stuff personal, and that's why it's privacy, because it's our stuff that we're concealing, right? That we don't want too many people to know.
Well, I wouldn't mind it, but like I said, they wouldn't understand it.
Yeah.
You know, so if I really told you what it is, you know, they wouldn't understand it. You know, so that's just what that is. So
yeah, a good historical reference to that would be like the witches in Salem, right? Like everyone was like thinking they're witches, and like everyone got scared and they killed them all.
right. People fear what they don't understand. So
Yeah.
again, back to rule number one. It relates back to rule number one. If I tell you my real intentions, you're going to get scared. And then rule number one: never outshine the master. Then I used to say this all the time on Instagram and Facebook on my posts. Is sorry if my goals offend most people. It's offensive.
Yes.
So people, because what happens is my goals are so lofty, people try to figure out, well, why do you want to do that? And now they feel some type of way. They feel inferior because their goals are not near my goals. So they're either going to try to talk down to me, or they're going to try to rationalize why their goals ain't on the same page as mine. So it kind of offends people.
Yeah, and it will always like offend people because, like you said, it's they get jealous, right? They get jealous. They get jealousy leads to anger. Anger leads to hate.
It's all fear.
Yeah, it's all slippery slope. That's for sure. Right. Sometimes it's just better not to even mention it.
Right. So yeah, I'm definitely stellar on that, concealing my intentions, because again, people feel some type of way. I no longer even post goals on Instagram. Yeah. You never know how many a lot of times you breed your own haters, by showing off and, posting your goals, and you know how many people are trying to go against you.
Yeah. I never talk about like my goals at all, unless I'm with like my true friends, like even then, like I never, depending on who I'm talking to, I'll never say exactly where I want to be. And I do that too because like sometimes like things change, dude. If you tell people, oh, I'm going to be doing this, this, and this, and then something happens and you have to take a back step or a change, then they mock you even more because, oh, he didn't do it like he said he was going to do it, causes lots of problems.
Right, and they want it, and then that's another thing. When you do tell people your goals or your intentions, they want it done overnight. And if it's not done overnight, then they make it funny. Oh, what happened to this such and such? Yeah, I'm still working on it. Yeah. So
I think 10 years in the future, man. Come on now.
Right. So that's the thing. Always keep your goals ambiguous. Don't tell everybody your ultimate goals, because again, most people are praying for your downfall.
Yeah.
So you're just getting that negative energy built up against you, and you're trying to overcome. You're creating your own enemy.
Yeah, I'd say about 98% want to see people's downfall, and that's a big problem in society today. It's sad.
Right. The problem with society is that instead of getting up and trying to increase your speed, they rather slow you down.
Yeah, and like, why do I need to slow down?
Right. Let's go to the fourth one. Always say less than necessary, and I think these are kind of like twins. It kind of rolls right back off each other. Always say less than necessary. I took this to heart when I first read this about 15 plus years ago, because my thing is, I thought being an extrovert, being outspoken was the best thing. So me coming from being, because that's why I don't too much take. I believe in astrology, but I don't believe in astrotheology.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the reason why. Because astrotheology kind of tells you that because I'm born on a certain day and time, and I have to be like this. And I'm a living witness that I totally remanufactured myself. From when I was a kid, I'm a totally different person because I used to stutter. I couldn't speak in front of crowds. So now I'm doing crowds of 200, speaking in front of crowds of 200.
Like it's nothing, right?
Like it's nothing without a syllabus. Our shows are never scripted. We might have a outline, but our shows are never scripted.
Yeah, we don't read off teleprompters over here. It all comes from
right. So I could give a whole speech, with nothing prepared, and I came from totally being just angry for nothing. Now nothing really makes me angry because I know this is all BS. So I totally remanufactured myself. I came from, um, New Orleans to, you know, this kid that nobody probably would hire to, become a successful millionaire. So on my way to 10, hopefully, and next 100, then a billion. We'd be right after Jay-Z.
Yeah,
So,
we're getting close, right?
I mean, it's just a matter of time. Like I said, my goals is, I don't want to tell the goals, but it's a matter of time. So nothing can stop it. So except myself.
Yeah.
But this is the thing.
Oh.
I had to remanufacture myself. I had to take stuff that I learned and then really make changes with inside myself. So I used to be a blabbermouth. When I first read this, I used to think talking, was impressive. And I just didn't know that it make you kind of look stupid.
Yeah, and it's true. It's like the more you speak, the more times you can make a mistake. That's what it says in the book, at least, And like our words and our voice is our energy in itself, and the less you can speak, the better it actually is. And the problem with today is like people will look at you weird if you don't want to talk. Like I'd rather just be sitting in silence, really, unless like I really need to speak, because the amount of energy we lose talking is astronomical. Sometimes you can't even count it how much we're losing when we're talking.
Well, it's a little bit deeper than that. Well, me is that when we seeing somebody, I used to always try to correct people. Again, and you see how these first four laws are all related. It's almost like when you're an expert on tennis and you see somebody doing a backhand wrong, you feel compelled to correct that person. Now you want to do a backhand like this. You put your elbow up, you do this, blah, 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 blah. I had to learn through business that even though you're dead right, people will take offense to that.
Yeah.
That's how fragile the ego is.
Yeah. And they'll feel it right in their heart too, that they know they're wrong, and that's where you can mess up, right? And that's why they
right. Yeah. So sometimes you got to let them make the backhand wrong. Let them, turn a blind eye. Turn a blind eye. I mean, unless you're in danger and you're about to get hit by a railroad or about to get hit by a truck, if you're just making an honest mistake, I don't have to say, I don't have to. You say conversating, I don't have to correct you. I just converse. I don't have to correct you every time. So it just comes from maturity, especially with religions and stuff like that. I hear people all the time with these misnomers about religion, misnomers about everything. You just gotta let them be.
Yeah, sometimes they're not ready to hear it either, especially with the religion stuff. So.
Right, they don't want to hear it. So it's one of my favorite books, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's what he talks about. Like you might win that battle, but you're gonna lose the war. They're gonna resent you.
Mm-hmm.
So just let them be. So always correcting them, always being they look at you as you want to be perfect, and now they're looking for any mistake that you make.
Yep, that's true. I had struggled with that previously, and I've learned my lesson now. Like I just don't. It's like, yeah, you're right, man. You're right. It's okay. Cool.
And that makes people feel uncomfortable. When if you know somebody's intellectually superior, you feel uncomfortable in the room.
Yep.
And so you don't want to stick out. You don't want to be that guy. Yeah. Trust me. Like I said, I used to always, try to flex. Yeah, I'm the smartest guy here. All that does is breed jealousy, envy, hate, and you got a target on your back. And nothing positive comes out of it.
Yeah. And the only time, in my opinion, that you're allowed to flex like that is when you're on top, right? Because then who's going to stop you, right?
Well, then at the same time, if you're a king, you're on top and you flex. Now you got people that's plotting to overthrow you.
Yeah, I mean you're not.
So you never want to flex. You always kind of want to be humble, mm-hmm. But at the same time, stay hungry, because what happens is you start flexing. People don't like that.
Yeah. But if you're not moving quick enough, you can fall behind too, right?
Right. I mean,
It's that balance.
right. Well, it's a balance. Everything's a balance.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to show, especially in Texas, you got to show some success or some progress. You can't be all bummy all the time because then people won't believe you.
Yeah.
So you got to show that you've made progress, that you're living okay. But it's a fine line between showing your success and bragging.
Yeah.
If they feel that you bragging or humble bragging, they're gonna shut down quick and they're gonna try to go against you.
And that's because of, like, again, their ego. And even though we're not bragging, we're just saying what we've done. It's just like, to them, oh, look at this arrogant
Right,
SOB, right?
right. And
But
people feel inadequate. You're making, that's not. It's not the way to win people on your side.
yeah,
So I prefer to just do it through good acts and stuff like that. And like I said, saying more than necessary. Another thing that you do by talking too much is, again, you seem too common. So you got to kind of remain mysterious. And I think there's some of the laws coming up. I don't want to say too much. Let's go to the next one real quick. Two more, and then we're gonna wrap it up. I'm not gonna keep y'all all night. Law number 5. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life.
it's my favorite one out of the first 5. This one.
Right, right. I mean, the thing about reputation is that's the only thing you got in business. Think about it. Coke, Pepsi, all the big brands, you buy because of their reputation.
Mm-hmm.
You buy because you see them on TV every 5 seconds. You buy because it's secure that that what you drink and won't poison you because they're so big they don't want to pay any lawsuits. So it's that security.
Yeah.
So everybody's trying to build their brand up, and your reputation is everything. So if you have a reputation of bad products, then you're not going to make any money. You got if you got a bad reputation about not knowing how to treat employees, you're not going to be able to hire anybody. You got a bad reputation about poor customer service, you're not going to be able to build your business. So everything depends on your reputation. And nowadays, it meant something back then different 15 years ago, because before then, there wasn't the Yelps and the Facebook reviews and the Google reviews and stuff like that. So I took it more on the street sets back 15 years ago, meaning that, I was still in that street state of mind back then. And what I thought reputation meant is that as long as I didn't screw anybody over on the streets, then I would be okay. And it's now morphed and evolved to, like, you can't screw anybody over because bad news travels 27 times faster than good news.
And that's a true statement. And now everything's like, I was born in 1990, right? So, like, I've had a computer most of my life, and everything we do now is going to be online forever if we post it. Everything is tracked, monitored. It's our reputation follows us for the rest of our lives. You only get one, like, what your reputation is out there for the people, or for your employers, or for your friends, family, your community. That's all you have, is it? Your name.
Right.
Your name is everything. It's the most sacred thing on the planet, is who you perceive yourself to be.
Right, or who the crowd, the masses perceive you to be is more important.
Yep.
Who you perceive, because a lot of people are delusional. A lot of people perceive themselves as successful, but they're broke. A lot of people, especially in my business that I have, a lot of realtors think they're well off. You look them up, and they're not doing any business. So it's about what the numbers say and who the public thinks that you are. Look at my mentor. He's a perfect example. Mattress Mac. Everybody in the Houston area think he's this saintly guy. That's all for the community, and that's what he got people to buy into, and that's what people believe. And I've seen the inner workings. I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but he's a good salesman. He's an excellent salesman. So if you could sell it, pull it off. So Scarface said this. This is one of my, one of the main things I took from the movie Scarface, is that Scarface said, "All I got is my balls and my word." And what I took that to mean is that all you got is your gumption and your reputation. You know, so that's all you got. Like if you could master those two things, you could, you know, be fearless and go for the gusto. That and on top of making your reputation clean and your network and the relationship game clean, you can go to the top.
Yep, and it's so important. You don't want to mess it up. You guard it with your life. That's what it says in the book, and that's how I try to live my life, guarding it close to my heart.
Right, exactly. Number 6, court attention at all costs.
Yep.
We were kind of talking about this tongue in cheek. This is going to be the last one we go over tonight when we're talking about investing more money into the podcast. And I want to twist this. I'm going to start where I was 15 plus years ago in my 20s. And I'll let it morph to where I was now. Where I was then, I was so lost. I thought court attention just means attention, whether it be in person, whether it be, you know, just being a character.
Mm-hmm. Like a jester.
Almost like a jester. You know, we used to dress, you know, crazy, the flyest, you know, try to
make everybody laugh.
Everybody else, you know, say the craziest things, make people laugh and stuff like that. That's what I thought attention meant. Try to be the shock value. Try to be the most outrageous, and that brings attention to you.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't know, it could bring negative attention to you. And negative attention is not always good attention. Yes, it's true that, I don't know, I'm getting an echo. Hold on a second. You hear echo on your end?
That one wasn't bad, no.
Okay. But what I was saying is that all attention is not good attention. We used to try to go for shock value. And shock value is cool for getting famous, but it doesn't necessarily translate to getting paid. Because people know you, but you'll be infamous instead of famous.
Yeah, and you don't want to be there. That's a dark hole right there.
Right. So people know you, but they don't necessarily want to spend money with you. They're either rooting against you, or they don't want to see you reach your goals. So all attentions is not good attention. So what I took it to meaning now is that you gotta mold your brand and morph to get your brand together, but get as many eyeballs on your brand as possible.
Yeah.
So all attention is not good attention. You wanna shape to just like Mattress Mac. You wanna market yourself a certain way, but you want to have as many people, as many outlets on that one marketing plan every day as you can. So at all costs means invest your money, but it doesn't mean like any type of attention. There's certain attention that equals money.
Yeah.
Not all attention equals money.
And the book
that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And the book talks about too about how to always try to be mysterious too at the same time. Like you're courting that attention by remaining mysterious, right? Like you're not letting everyone know exactly what you're doing. It's like the opposite of being the jester. You're like the magician at that point. You're walking around with a big staff and no one really knows what it's there for, you know, and you have the whole attention of the crowd, right?
Right. Well, see, I used to, back in my younger day, think attention means, all right, I got to have the flashiest chain. I got to have the flashiest watch, the flashiest car. You know, I just got to have the image, and that actually breeds more jealousy. You know, so you got to be humble and show, you know, you got to show that you're more of a charitable person and you want more attention on that than actually the flashy stuff.
You know, like how do you expect people to support you if you don't go volunteer in the community, right? Or you have to go and get your name out there. You know, people ask me all the time, like, why are you volunteering all the time? Why aren't you like working like for more money? You know, I'm like, it's like you have to give back to get back, right? Like people have to see you doing things outside of just doing things for yourself.
Right. And again, like I said, a lot of guys, they kind of, with the guys playing with Drake and all that stuff, they kind of starting to master that stuff or starting to get into that stuff now. So they're starting to learn more about making a deposit before you make a withdrawal. But
it's all about, in the end, it's all about charity, not just monetary, about just helping other people out.
right. A lot of people getting on it now, but 15 years ago, it was a different ball game. So, court attention at all costs meant something different now than it did then. So now you got to be kind of more pinpoint and smarter about what you're doing.
Because there's lots more people we're competing with around the world now too. So you got to make sure your logos, your brand, the colors, everything is spot on. That attention, that good attention, like the Nike swoosh,
Right. And then at all costs means that, you want to dump money into actually having, that attention, because money follows eyeballs. One of the things Mattress Mac always used to say is like, marketing is like bathing. You have to do it every day or you can tell, so you gotta market every day, but you got to do it to where you formulate that brand or that image that you want. You don't want just any type of attention, because that any type of attention could be counterproductive. It could work against you.
Mm-hmm. And it's like all movies, what do? They market their movies, right? The movies that do bad, they didn't market well enough or not to the right audience. It's just like, it's all about trying to sell your product, trying to get it out there.
Right. So you got to court attention at all costs. So we don't want to keep people too long, but that was the first 6 laws of 48 laws of power. Again, it's powerful stuff. Robert Greene, you learn how to master these particular laws, and I promise you, you'll see an increase in your productivity, not only as a business person, but your productivity in your personal life. Once you learn how to master these laws and learn how to talk and how to not talk and how to conduct yourself, you'll start to see the positive influence and the positive production, should I say.
Yeah, and what these laws do is they teach you how to play the game that we're all in, right? And I think Game of Thrones quote from the first season is like, when you play the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die, because everyone is playing the same game, It's about who's going to be better at playing the game.
Right. And the game is not going nowhere. You can hate the game all that you want, but the game is not going anywhere. So you can either learn how to adapt and play by the rules or die, so it's just what it is. So you're not going to change the game. Not change the game. You can change the game incrementally, but you're not going to destroy the game and just start playing your game.
Yeah,
you can change the game degree by degree.
It doesn't work like that,
Right. You're not going to.
You gotta learn how to.
You're not going to crumble the game and then I'm going to put my game and replace that. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So it just is what learn the rules.
Yeah, learn how to work the rules into your life. Try to do good with everybody, when you can. It's the power of owning ourselves, right? It's what we're doing here. So.
Right. And again, the power of ownership. We're trying to teach you guys. I downloaded, uploaded, should I say, the last 4 episodes that was missing on Apple Podcasts. So enjoy. And I was just listening this morning. Like, man, we're really hitting you with some powerful stuff. A lot of powerful stuff. It's just, a lot of people, I don't know if they have the attention span to sit there and listen, but an entrepreneur, this is good stuff. So I need y'all to listen to this on the way to the gym, while you're working out, while you're running, your windshield time, when you're stuck in traffic. This is stuff that's going to change your life, so.
Tell all your friends, get them to start thinking outside the box. Because once one person starts thinking outside the box, then the box keeps stacking up, right? That's
right. So, Billionaire Loan Officer on all social media outlets. That's all one word. Subscribe to the YouTube of Billionaire Loan Officer. Like it, subscribe. We're going to be hitting you probably. I want to get caught up because we're a little bit behind. We're at episode number 17. I want to be at episode 26 by the end of the month. So we're going to do this. Probably going to come to you like every other day with this till we get all 48 laws of power done. And I want to be at episode 26. That way we right in line for 52 episodes by the end of the year, one per week. So we're a little bit behind. We're like 11 episodes behind. So we're probably going to double, triple up this week. Be coming to you on the Google Hangouts, breaking down the 48 laws of power. And we got another some more stuff that we probably going to be hitting you with. I know I got my micro blog that's daily on Instagram. It's 8 All Positive Energy. Steven's going to be coming out with his micro blog real soon. We might have another podcast that's going to be a little bit more on the woo-woo side that's in development right now. We're going to break that to you once it comes out. So we got a lot of things in the work. The book be out pretty soon. I'm putting the finishing touches on it right now. I got a lot of work done today on it. The second book, and the book, my current book out right now, Sales the Nucleus of Any Profession, out on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. Just Google Brandon B. Dixon, and it pops up. So you can order the book right there online. Get the book, learn how to sell, learn how to market, learn how to make you some money. Mortgages, this is my last plug. Again, www.hocmortgage.com. Go ahead, fill you out an application to get you a mortgage. A lot of people, this is the moving season. June is National Home Ownership Month. So if you need me to help you with mortgage or investment property, so on and so forth, get on that. Last thing, I am doing mentorship and training sessions. So go to billionaireloanofficer.com to book me for either a training session or mentorship one-on-one. I charge $300 an hour for mentorship, or if you want to get 3 hours, I do $600 for 3 hours. So mentorship, you need spiritual mentorship, you need financial mentorship, I'm there. Go to billionaireloanofficer.com, book me, and we'll go from there. You want to plug anything, Steve?
I'm Steven Contreras. You can find me on Instagram, Steven Contreras 90. And on Facebook, Steven Contreras. If you guys have any questions, just feel free and reach out. We're going over some good stuff in the 48 Laws of Power. Everyone's going to like that, I think. And that's about it. We're going to have some cool stuff with a tarot card reader on the 23rd. And we're just going to keep on doing what we're doing, trying to spread the wealth and knowledge.
Right. We're going to keep doing pushing. We're going to wrap it up today. But go ahead and look at us. Watch us on YouTube at Billionaire Loan Officer. Just put in the Power of Ownership podcast. Should pop up. Also, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. If you hadn't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe on there as well. So with that, I'm going to say God is a verb and personal responsibility is your only savior. I'm going to say peace.
Namaste.
All right.